The RCL Benziger Family Life program is divided into 5 parts. They collectively address all the basic areas of family life education. And we put them under the notion of the gift of, because we feel these are all gifts from God, which entail a responsibility on our part, to deal with the gifts effectively. The first is the gift of family itself. We start with that because that's the way we all start. We all start as members of a family. So we talk about various relationships in the family, different kinds of families, just the value of family life and those experiences that emanate from that part of life. Then we move to the gift of self. This is one of the areas where our Catholic Christian understanding of life challenges the culture in saying that the self is not isolated, but the self grows and develops out of relationships. And that first relationship is family. So now we've connected family with self. And then we move on to the first thing that, in a sense, people are aware of, and that is that they are alive. And that's the gift of life. And of course, that, again, comes from God and has many manifestations of it. We live in a world today that is very sensitive to issues of life because the survival of life on our planet, let's say, is thought to be not automatic, but in fact precarious. And we're having a greater awareness of responsibility for all creation. We understand as Christians and as Catholics that our life is fulfilled with the attitude of love and with acts of love as we support and interrelate with one another. So you have connected life and love in the curriculum all the way through. Using the words of Jesus, God loved us first, which means that love precedes life. In marriage, the act of love generates life. So you can see we're kind of doing a spiral here, that we connect life with love, we connect life and love with the development of the self, and we see the self in the context, particularly at the beginning, of the self relating to family. But there's another piece. There's the wider community. And so that's the 5th part. Because we're not just created to live in family and ignore the rest of God's creation, the rest of God's people. So we must also have in the family a sense of the wider community and a responsibility for the wider community. So you have this very dynamic sense of community that goes from the close community, the family, to the wider community, the outside world. And all of these are interrelated in a curriculum, a very comprehensive curriculum. And that's why we call it family life education, because in a sense, an idea that comes more and more into the writings of the church right now is that there is also a wider human family, which is all the people on the face of the earth, all of God's good creations. So all of these 5 parts, as I say, were brilliantly cast very early on in the history of the program, and we have continued them and deepened them because we have come to a deeper and deeper appreciation that they all are in fact connected.